Lambo, worst investment of my life. The more you study Bitcoin, the more you study it's not risky at all.
So how would you make 100x tomorrow with crypto?
True wealth is built during recessions, not during bull markets. The rich get richer because they buy assets during crisis.
All right, a little introduction. This guy literally changed my life. I was a content creator for 9 years now. Then I went to Copenhagen, like you, started doing content creation for myself, starting posting on Instagram, 30,000 followers within the first month. Went back to Amsterdam to do my last jobs, but I was like, okay, I'm gonna go all in on my personal brand. I came to Bali, went to the most expensive co-working space here in Bali, and I heard some 3 Dutch guys speaking about content creation and how to make money. And I was a little bit scared, but I approached you guys, and then I was like, yo, I heard you're Dutch, I heard you speak about content. I just gained 75,000 followers, but I make almost no money from it. Do you guys know anything? And then the guy next to you, he was like, this is the OG of the Netherlands of how to make money online. This is like the best guy. And then you were like, yeah, I made 400,000 plus month. I've never heard of those numbers before. I didn't even know it was possible as a content creator to make so much money, right? So I was like, a whole limiting belief was like open. Then the funny thing is I looked at your content and I had the audacity, which I think most people wouldn't, to be like, your content sucks.
My content still sucks.
And then I gave you a few tips and you were like intrigued and you were like, you didn't have ego, so I found it beautiful. So you were like, okay, interesting, we can have a coffee about it. But then I was like, how do you make so much money if your content, like if you don't have views? Like I have so much more views than you. And you were like, ads. I do ads. And I was like, holy shit, okay, I need to figure that out. It's still not doing really ads, but yeah, I will get there.
No, you're saying something really interesting over there. So you say, I haven't heard any other people make that amount of money as a content creator. I'm not a content creator. I'm an entrepreneur who also makes content on the side. Not because my business grows regardless if I make content or not. So I just do it actually for fun. To be honest, the whole reason why I'm making content, why I'm putting content on YouTube, why I'm putting content on social media is because in 10 years from now, I want to look back at my line of thought today and I want to see how I am thinking today. I'm not making content because I need to sell. Because when I had 2,000 followers on Instagram, I was doing $1 million months. I wasn't posting daily. I wasn't posting reels, wasn't posting YouTube videos. I was a complete ghost on the internet. If people would type my name, Mitchell Weijerman, they would find nothing. But the 2,000 people that followed me on Instagram really, truly knew me and knew what I did in the past, what results I've generated. They knew that whenever I do something, I probably research it really well and created something really nice. So when I launched my new company, yeah, we did $1 million month in the launch with 2,000 followers. When people come to me and talk about views and creating content, to me, that doesn't say much. It's about sales and building relationships.
Yeah, and then so you literally changed my life. Like since this conversation, like so many limiting beliefs grew. And then I was like, okay, like we spoke about mentors and stuff. Like one way to get a mentor is to pay him. But instead of paying, I moved to Bali and you told me a few things. If you want to get this success, you got to read 2 books, right?
Yeah.
So I literally did that for half a year, read those 2 books over and over. I moved here because I wanted to be around you or around people like you also. Right, to learn. I was like, okay, in the Netherlands, I cannot meet people like that. And even though you're Dutch, but then also like in the Netherlands, people wouldn't be open about their numbers or about those kind of things. It's much harder, right? It's a different mindset. So then I was like, okay, I see a version of me in you. I want to grow like you. So I literally did what you told me. And then the next meeting we had was me telling you, hey, I just did everything you told me to. And I think this is how you find a great mentor also. So it's like finding someone, listening to every single advice he has to say, and then literally doing that. So I told you, I spent half a year reading your books. I felt super overwhelmed and I have no clue how to implement all of that.
But let's talk about the books that I recommended to you. The reason why I recommended those books to you was because 7 years ago, when I was completely stuck, overwhelmed, and didn't know how to make my first money online, someone else recommended those books to me, or that particular book, and the book is called .com Secrets. It's written by Russell Brunson. In my opinion, one of the most clever guys that talks about making money online. But you have clever, of course, but I believe the real intelligence lies in being able to explain something in very simple language so that anyone can understand it. And Russell Brunson is one of the best explainers. So
on one side, yes. On the other side, I didn't take any action of what he said. So
oh, no?
I did, but it was so overwhelming. And you were also in this stage.
It takes time. You don't just read a book and then the next day you are super successful. It is, you read the book, you implement it, then you get some first results, you go back to the book. No, maybe I did this wrong. You go back, you try it again, then you implement it, you fine tune it, and then you consume more of the materials. And ultimately, because you're following one mentor, and I always believe in following one mentor, I believe right now there's too many different bits and pieces of information, mentors, YouTube channels. Like now happens a lot, and I used to be guilty of this too in the beginning. You just take one bit of one person there, you take another bit of another person there, one nugget here, and you try to combine it in your own system. I don't believe this works. When I buy into a mentor, I do step by step what this one mentor tells me, because I know his system worked for him. And if I just copy every single step, then most likely I will also get those results. So if I miss one step or I change a step, then I'm not going to get those results because I'm not following it in the same order.
And that's why we believe in paying people for mentorship.
Yeah, totally. I think right now I paid more than 150K in coaching and mentorship, and
I would expect the number to be higher.
Yes, I know. I would say the last 2 years, my investments in my own education have stagnated a little bit. In the beginning, I think it's really important to invest a lot in great mentors. At one point, it's also very difficult to still find mentors that can learn you stuff that you don't know. Yeah, that can teach you stuff that you don't know. Exactly. Rather than investing in mentors, right now I invest in really great team members. My team members, they're almost my mentors. So they work with me, and every single day we are on Zoom calls, and I learn so much from them and their experience.
And that's why making money is so much personal growth, because I was like, when I was selling things online, I was selling courses, right? And then there's a whole thing about, oh, if you're selling courses, you're a scammer. So I was like, I was scared to speak to the people I sold courses to.
Oh, right? Yeah?
Yeah,
okay.
I had all those fears. I was terrified.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, someone bought my course. I hope they don't like complain, or I don't want to hear from them at all.
Yeah.
So what I learned from you is basically, okay, you got to get closer. You got to do. You told me stop selling things for under $2,000.
Yeah, or giving it away for free.
I'm still doing that, and I'm not listening to you on that. But I think it's all about trust. That's what I learned from you. It's all about trust. So giving away for free is trust. I understand people don't always take it, right? They don't take action and stuff. But yeah, I do sell now things for above $2,000, even $5,000. I did it because you told me, okay, you gotta get closer to your clients. You gotta do free phone calls. You gotta get closer. Oh yeah, so I learned from you that, okay, you can make a lot of money, be a good person, and make all your clients be your best friends. One
of my ex-business partners, he taught me a very powerful principle, the law of the mirror. And it basically states that your outer world is a direct reflection of your inner world. So whatever you believe will become your reality. So if you believe selling is dirty, that other course creators are scammers, then you're also going to believe that about yourself. Then you're not going to like selling your stuff. You're going to feel like you're scamming people. You're going to be afraid. So the real thing that everyone needs to do is they need to work on their beliefs. You are not your thoughts. Your thoughts are an accumulation of all of your experiences that happened in the past. But just like a computer program, you can reinstall the software on your brain. And you can decide yourself what you want to install on it. Now, some things are going to be more easy to change than others. There might be some past trauma, there might be some hidden stuff within your mind that you haven't yet processed.
Hey, one of the biggest lessons I learned today from you, the biggest takeaway, is actually it's not about Bitcoin. It's about the new technology of Bitcoin, which is blockchain. Am I wrong here?
Actually, it's not even about the new technology. It's about the old technology that's messed up. Money is a technology. It was a technology created to make our lives easier, so we don't have to store all of the gold at home or take it with us when we're walking from city to trade our goods. So money is a technology, and it's flawed, it's broken, because money can be printed with just a few clicks of a button. And that's what central banks are doing. The Feds, they keep on printing more money every single day. So money and the banking system is also broken. There's a lot of fraud in the banking system. Banks do a lot of money laundering for drug cartels. A lot of top bank executives do shady deals to only rake in big fat bonuses for themselves. And Bitcoin and the blockchain solves this. It's an open and transparent system. You cannot commit fraud. There's many different backup systems in the place. And I just believe it's a superior system to store your wealth. And after selling 3 companies 4 years ago, I did so much research on where to allocate the bulk of my capital, made a lot of really great investments, but one investment really stood out, Bitcoin. So I went heavy into Bitcoin. And as an extension of that, I stumbled upon the world of Bitcoin mining, built a mining farm, 20,000 machines. Now we've got 80,000 machines, and that's my main business. We help people to get started with Bitcoin mining.
Okay. Why would I want to do that?
Why would you want to do that? It's very simple.
And first of all, when?
When?
Yeah.
Anytime. I believe we're still very early.
As in, how much money do I need?
Oh, it depends. The price of machines, they change from day to day. So if I tell you a price today in this podcast, it might be more expensive tomorrow if Bitcoin goes up.
Okay.
So in any case, the most important thing is that you believe in the long-term potential of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Only then it makes sense. But to answer your question, why? Let me ask you a question. If you have 2 options, number 1, you can pay the bank for every transaction that you're doing on the network. Or number 2, you can be the bank and everyone pays you to do a transaction on your network. Which one would you choose? You would be the bank. With Bitcoin mining, it's exactly that. We are the banking system of Bitcoin. So when people transact on the Bitcoin network, they pay us a transaction fee for processing those transactions. That's it. And that's why I went heavy into Bitcoin mining, because I would prefer to get a percentage of all of the transactions happening on the network, especially when you predict that the network is going to grow exponentially over time.
Yeah. So if you believe in Bitcoin, then Bitcoin mining just makes sense. But then there are probably a lot of companies. BlackRock is doing Bitcoin mining. I can probably go with them. Why would I go with you?
No, you cannot go with them. So there's different business models out there. So BlackRock is in Bitcoin mining, but they own publicly traded Bitcoin mining companies. So basically this is a stock on the stock market of a company that has very large data centers and they're mining Bitcoin, and you become a shareholder in that company, but you have very little saying about what's going to happen with the Bitcoin. Like, it's just you are a passive investor in another company. What we have done is Bitcoin mining is a proven business model. People mine Bitcoin for over 15 years now. It's not very accessible to the average Joe. When I wanted to get into my mining 4 years ago, I started to research on the internet, went on YouTube, found a lot of videos, but they were super technical, of engineers that built their own mining setups in their basement or in their attic. It was just too complicated. Second thing is you don't know where to get started. If you want to set up everything yourself, it's very capital intensive. So I went through all of these problems myself, having to figure out how I could do this with little capital, how to manage everything. In the end, I formed a collective of miners. And together we're managing 80,000 mining machines. We've got multiple locations around the world. We've got super cheap electricity costs. We've created a plug and play system. So we have democratized Bitcoin mining, whereas traditionally it was only accessible to a few either super technical people or wealthy people that have the capital to hire the right people to do it. Instead, we have built a collective and we're sharing the resources and infrastructure so that we can all win.
So you had a very successful business, $1 million a month.
Mm-hmm.
And then suddenly you tell me like, hey, I'm stopping it completely and I'm going to do only Bitcoin mining.
Yeah.
Why?
Or when I wake up every morning, I like to think about my energy as 100 units of energy. Mm-hmm. And you can choose what you're going to spend your energy on, and you're not going to get that energy back. Every single day you have 100 units of energy, you're not going to get it back. So what are you going to spend those 100 units of energy on? For me, when I made the decision, I'm going to focus on the highest leverage opportunity. So where can I spend my time and get the biggest multiplier on that? And for me, that's Bitcoin mining, because I believe in the long-term potential of Bitcoin, all of the adoption. I believe we're very early in this space. I believe there's a lot of demand. Whereas in the info product space or the service business space, it's a very red ocean. There's a lot of people competing for the same customers. And I don't like to be in red oceans. I like to be in blue oceans. I like to be the biggest player in my pond. And you do that by offering a really great solution to a big problem that people are willing to pay money for, and to do that consistently over time. I often get asked a question like, hey, would you start this business on the side, or would you do that on the side? And I don't do that. My plan is not sexy. It's not focused on shiny objects. I'm not playing into the latest trends. I'm just trying to become just 1% better every single day, and doing that consistently over the long term. And that's the formula. Blue ocean market, great product, 1% better every single day.
Okay, when would you recommend me as a coach, for example, to buy from you Bitcoin mining? At what point?
At what point? Investing is a muscle, like going to the gym. If you go to the gym, you won't have a six-pack straight away. You won't get wide shoulders and the buffalo neck the next day. You build muscle over time. So I believe you can never start with investing early enough. It's never too late. It's never too early. But you should just get started, and you should start as soon as possible. Because if you can't manage a small amount of money, then you cannot manage a big amount of money. Yeah, my answer to that is every single person should get started with investing, whether it's Bitcoin mining, buying some index funds, S&P 500. The whole point is to make it part of your habits, and not only your habits, but also your identity.
How did you get started into crypto? How did you make your first money? How many failures did you had?
The first time I got into crypto, I think it was 2017. I just made my first $8,000 on the internet from my laptop with my first business, actually after I failed 5 different businesses. And I was traveling through Thailand. I was actually in Koh Phangan, and I was traveling with 2 more friends. And one of them was very early in this whole crypto space. And every night during dinners, he told me how much money he was making with crypto. And that was right at during that bull market cycle. So literally every conversation I had in the gym, in the co-working space, at dinners, everything was about crypto. So at one point I had FOMO, fear of missing out. I felt like everyone around me was making so much money except for me. So I told my friend, like, hey, just show me how I can buy, and what should I buy? So he told me, just buy Bitcoin and Ethereum, hold it, and then you'll be good. So he showed me how to open my Kraken account. I purchased my first Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I spent 8,000, all of the 8K, because I expected that in the next few days I would just become a multimillionaire overnight.
All of your savings?
Yeah, all of my savings, all of my hard-earned money from my first few months as an online entrepreneur.
What did your friends do? Did they tell you to do that?
One more friend did exactly the same.
Okay.
So we invested it. I went to bed. I dreamt about being super rich the next day. Next morning I woke up, opened my portfolio, and it was 50% down. So I panicked, and then I decided to sell all of my crypto, because I was afraid that it wasn't going to go to zero. Remember, this was all of my savings. And the next few months, or a few months later, Bitcoin went to 17K. I missed out on all of the gains. Everyone made so much money around me. And at that point, I made an agreement with myself to never touch crypto ever again, because I didn't understand it. I didn't understand the fundamentals behind it. And here I am a few months later. I'm all in on crypto. It's my main business, main investment vehicle. A lot has happened during that time.
I can imagine your face waking up that day feeling like...
Yeah, but that's the rookie mistake. First of all, I believe you should never invest in things you don't understand. Never invest when you have FOMO, fear of missing out. And you should never invest with the mentality to get rich quick. Because if you're trying to get rich quick, you're probably going to lose all of your money. Real wealth is built over the long term.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Actually, I started also in Koh Phangan, so that's a beautiful story. How old were you?
This was 7 years ago, so 25 years old.
Okay. Not
Yeah.
like 45 or something like
No,
that.
no.
Okay. Okay. Wow. Okay. And then how are you a guru now? Or how did you manage to make the success now?
After I went through this horrible and painful investing experience, I decided to just focus on my business because that's what I understood. And I know that many entrepreneurs have a similar mindset. Yeah, no, I don't understand this investing thing, so let me just focus on my business. So I did that for 2-3 years. I grew one of my companies to 8 figures in revenue, $10 million. Then I sold it. And then I had some money in my bank account. And I told myself, let's try this investing thing one more time. So,
Wait, so a million, then 10 million, and you didn't invest?
no, I made some investments along the way, but
Like what?
the way that I made my investments was every dinner, I just heard some friends talking about a particular stock or crypto coin, and I was too lazy to do the research. I didn't have the knowledge to do the research. I didn't understand what I was doing, so I was just randomly picking up what people were saying. I put some money into different investments, and you can probably guess what happened next. I lost all of it. Because here's the thing, most people are not investors. I was not an investor at that particular point in time. I was a gambler. So what do gamblers do? They just throw some money left and right. Let me put 100 there, 500 there, 200 there, and hope that one of those investments will just 10x, 100x, and that I'll be super rich overnight. But in reality, it's just the same as going to the casino. Because in the casino, the house always wins. Why? Because if you are a gambler, maybe 1 out of your 10 bets will be a winner. But then if you get one of those winners, you start to believe that you're a genius investor. So you start to take excessive risks the next time, and you're ultimately going to gamble everything away again. And that's why 95% of people in the markets don't make money. So you need to learn how to become part of the 5% that actually makes the money.
And how do you do that?
For me, it all started with studying Warren Buffett. So Warren Buffett is one of the greatest investors in the world. He has a net worth of over $100 billion. And
Coca-Cola, right? Not even
he
Bitcoin or
invested in
something.
Coca-Cola, Geico, insurance company, banking stocks, many different companies, actually very boring companies, but he became super wealthy. And I figured if Warren Buffett made $100 billion investing, then I should research him, reverse engineer him. And I found out that Warren Buffett actually has 2 rules for investing. Rule number 1 is never lose money. Rule number 2 is don't forget rule number 1. And it's very simple. He's just focused on not losing money. So when most people get into investing, they think, how can I 10x, 100x my money? And they're willing to risk all of their investment to make that return. Whereas Warren Buffett would just think about the risks up front. How can I just make sure that I don't lose any money and at the same time make a nice consistent return along the way? And if you don't lose money and at the same time keep compounding what you already have, that's the key to building wealth.
Can you elaborate on the compounding part? Because I don't get it enough.
Okay. So compound interest, Albert Einstein is known for saying it's like the 8th world wonder. Compound interest is very simple. I think the easiest analogy for compound interest is the golden goose analogy. Let's say that you have a golden goose and he lays an egg. Then what most people do is they take the egg, they crack it open in a pan, they make an omelette and they eat it. But what if instead of eating that egg, you would give it some love, some heat, you would hatch it and it will give you another goose. So then you have 2 geese, and those can also lay eggs. And instead of eating those eggs, you again give them love, attention, they grow up, and then you have an army of golden geese and they keep producing eggs for you over time. So the big difference between compound interest and what most people do is most people take the profit rather than reinvesting that profit. And on the short term, that's great because you've got a nice, delicious egg, or you've got some money to use to buy clothes, holidays, whatever. But instead, you should reinvest it to create more profit over time. And when you keep compounding, so when you keep reinvesting your profit, then at one point it will start to snowball and it will start to become bigger and bigger. And That's how the rich become rich. They have a long-term perspective on building wealth.
I never heard that analogy. I like it. So basically what you're saying is most people think that if the market grows, then your assets grow like this, but it actually grows like this.
If you reinvest your profit, correct.
If you just don't touch Bitcoin, right?
Yes. Look, Bitcoin has been called the best asset class of the past decade.
Yeah.
Why? It generated around 230% in annual returns between 2011 and 2021. So if someone generates 230% in 1 year, for many people that's a lot of money, a very high percentage, especially if you compare it to returns of traditional investments like stocks, which is generally 7 to 8% per year, real estate 10% per year, gold 3 to 4% per year. Bitcoin did 230% per year.
Like a belief. It's a different kind of thing, right?
What do you mean a belief? It's numbers. It is...
Yeah, but it's riskier, right? Or you believe in Bitcoin or you don't.
It's
Some
not
people
risky.
hate it. Some people love it. Right?
Bitcoin is only risky if you don't understand what it is. If you haven't studied it, the more you study Bitcoin, the more you study it's not risky at all. That's my opinion.
Okay.
Holding cash is a lot more riskier than holding Bitcoin. Because cash decreases in value guaranteed. Every single year, 2, 3, 4%. During COVID, 10%.
Yeah.
So meaning that if you have savings right now in your bank account, those savings will not be able to allow you to buy the same amount of products and services in 1 year from now.
Mm-hmm.
That's how inflation works. On the other hand, with Bitcoin, if you hold one Bitcoin right now, you have got this famous chart on Twitter, which keeps circulating, that one house 10 years ago would be like, 200 Bitcoin. Now you can buy a house with 2 or 3 Bitcoin. So meaning that life only gets easier if you hold Bitcoin, but life gets harder if you hold cash.
Have you ever thought about getting paid in Bitcoin?
I don't believe that Bitcoin necessarily is a good payment method. Why? Because it fluctuates a lot. For example, in my company, we do Bitcoin mining. Let's say that you want to pay in Bitcoin, you want to pay your energy bill in Bitcoin. One day Bitcoin could be worth 90K, the next day it could be worth 50K because the market is volatile, of course. Yeah. So if you need to pay your bills on the short term, Bitcoin is not great. You can better have stable coins. But Bitcoin is a store of value. What is a store of value? The game that we're playing is to build up wealth. So you work hard, you save money, and that is your wealth.
Yeah.
The goal is how can you grow your wealth over time? You find great stores of value. What are stores of value? Companies, stocks, real estate, gold, but also Bitcoin. You want to put your wealth into things that can increase in value over time, or that can pay you a cash flow. Either one of those two, or ideally both.
Okay. What do you think about meme coins?
Meme coins, let me give you my perspective on that.
Maybe some specific examples also. Maybe your friends lost all their money in meme coins, stuff like that.
So my perspective on meme coins, if you look at the typical crypto investor, what are they thinking? They do not want to do research. They just want to put their money into something and become really quickly really rich in the shortest period of time.
Yeah.
And meme coins are perfect for this because it's just gambling and speculation. They want to find the next dog coin, or now I believe the newest iteration of meme coins is they have some kind of Binance mascot, for example. That's the latest meme. And people just want to throw their money and wake up the next day and wake up with their portfolio being at $1 million plus. And that's why I believe the biggest liquidity, so the most amount of money this bull market cycle, will go into meme coins. Am I investing heavily in meme coins? I do believe it's smart to follow the dumb money, to be one step ahead of the dumb money, because you can make a lot of money by outsmarting stupid investors. So it pays off to be one step ahead of the dumb money, because dumb money is literally what we call exit liquidity. They pay you, basically, they are funding your exit. But Am I going to invest in meme coins? I would say 5% of my portfolio at max will be allocated to meme coins because I think it's pure gambling and speculation. To me, that's part of the high risk, high return segment of my portfolio, whereas the bulk of my portfolio is low risk, high return. So I try to minimize my risks, whereas the retail investors, the dumb money in the market, they focus on max risk. They're willing to lose everything in order to make a bit. It's like the lottery mentality.
Yeah. Okay. So what's smart money and dumb money?
Okay. In the investing space, you have smart money and dumb money. What is smart money? Smart money are the institutions. So, for example, think about BlackRock. BlackRock is the largest asset manager in the world. They're managing $11 trillion of assets. BlackRock, now everyone is talking about AI. In fact, I know it's one of your favorite topics too, but BlackRock has been building AI for the past 30 plus years. Their AI is analyzing billions of data points every single day. They know everything about the stock market, the bond market, the real estate market, and their AI gives them an immense advantage over the normal people in the market. I believe the easiest way to spot profitable trends in the market is by studying what the smart money is doing. What is smart money doing right now? They're buying up Bitcoin and they're starting with Bitcoin mining. BlackRock now owns 460,000 Bitcoin, and they have accumulated that in a very short period of time. So in just a few months, they already own 5% of all of the supply, and they just entered the market. Now, what is dumb money? Dumb money are the retail investors, the average person, the average Joe. And I cannot blame them for being dumb because the average person has never learned how to invest. On purpose, it has been left out of the education system. Why? Because in the early 1900s, when Rockefeller created the education board, they wanted to have a nation of workers, not thinkers. And if you make people financially free by teaching them how to invest, then you lose your workers. So dumb money, they're gamblers. They have the lottery mentality. They just want to gamble a little bit left and right and hope that one of those investments are just going to make them super rich overnight. But hey, how many people do you know that actually win the lottery? I know one.
I don't know anyone.
I have one niece that actually won the lottery in the Netherlands, but that's a very tiny fraction of people that actually win the lottery.
How fast did they lose it?
Yes, yeah, there's a statistic and you can look it up. They say that 90% of all lottery winners lose all of their money again within the next 5 years. Why is that? Because if you are a broke person, there's a reason why you're broke. You cannot handle money. You've never learned how to make more money, how to keep it, and how to multiply it. So what if suddenly you win millions? Then you're just going to spend that money like a poor person. Yeah. Then rather than buying a few hundred euros or dollars worth of t-shirts, you're going to buy expensive designer clothes, buy the most expensive steak in a restaurant, buy another car, and not doing any great investments or not managing your money in a great way. And that's why all of them go broke, or most of them go broke. Yeah. So that's why I believe people always approach me and they ask me like, at what amount of money should I start to invest my money? And I think this is a ridiculous question. I think investing and building wealth is a mindset and a habit. If you can't manage your money when you have a small amount of money or when you have a relatively low income, then even if you've got a bigger income, you will not be able to manage that money too. So you start small, you scale it up, you form a habit, a mindset, and you make it part of your life, your identity. And I think that's the only way to really build wealth over time.
Okay, but if you would lose everything you earned, because you mentioned that money is a mindset, what would you do to make it again? And how much do you predict to make?
Yeah, so if tomorrow everything would be gone and I would have to restart again, I know there's only 3 things that I need to do to get back to the exact level where I am right now. Number 1 is I need to learn how to make money. So right now we live in the information age. There's a ton of great mentors, people on the internet, even YouTube talk. There's so much free information out there.
All my rich friends are YouTubers, I noticed.
All your rich friends are YouTubers?
Yeah, you're a big YouTuber. I was surprised by that as well.
Actually, there's a big difference between your friends and my friends, because my rich friends are not YouTubers.
As in, they watch YouTube.
They watch YouTube. Yes. No, I consume, if you look at the statistics on my phone, I think I consume like 6 hours of YouTube every single day.
Okay.
Like every spare minute I have in my day, I'm probably listening to a podcast. When I'm in the gym, I listen to a podcast. When I'm on the motorbike, I listen to a podcast. When I'm grilling my steak on my balcony, I'm listening to a podcast. I believe there's so much great information out there. And you need to, I hate the term information junkie, because some people just get stuck in this infinite cycle of just absorbing more information without executing it. So that's one of the big traps. But if you actually make a habit of within 24 hours implementing all of the great nuggets that you hear, then it's actually good to absorb a lot of new information. And yeah, that's totally become addicted to learning, and not only learning but implementing.
Asking Mitchell.
Yes.
You wake up tomorrow.
Yeah.
Portfolio is down 90%. You have zero in your bank account almost.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Okay. So what I would do, 3 things. Number 1, you need to learn how to make money. So when I started my journey, a little bit of background information, I have 2 university degrees, and people that went to university oftentimes have a very big ego. No, I'm just going to figure it out myself. I need to prove to the world that I am smart and intelligent. But this resulted in me spending countless days, hours, frustrated, figuring out everything myself, being stuck in the same position, burning through all of my cash reserves.
This is a good point, by the way. I hire a lot of people. Every time I hear someone speak about a degree or I see them proud of it, it's like a big red flag that they're going to have a huge ego and they're going to be like, oh, I learned so much and I just don't care about your degree. It's irrelevant for me.
Yes,
Are
exactly. So sometimes the university mentality can work in your disadvantage. So I had to, at one point, embrace that it is much smarter to pay someone else who has already done the work for you and who has achieved the results that you want to achieve. Yeah. So I remember my first mentor, I paid $1,000 for 1 hour of coaching. This was my first investment. My 2 business partners encouraged me to make this investment. I told them it was completely stupid and ridiculous to pay someone $1,000 for just 1 hour. But anyways, we did it. I made the investment. I hopped on a Zoom call with my mentor. And within that 1 hour, he was able to pinpoint directly what the issues were in my business, how I could fix it. And I believe within the next 2 months, we made about $1 million in revenue just from his advice. So that $1,000 that I invested in my mentor turned into $1 million. So at that point, your beliefs start to change. At that point, I became addicted to finding the best mentors. And this really fast-tracked my journey of growth, of development, entrepreneurship, investing. Whatever I want to learn right now, I just try to find the person that has exactly the results that I want to achieve. Yeah, I would find the right person to teach me the right skills. I would pay him. I would follow step by step what that person has done. When people join a program, their ego pops up and they want to reinvent the wheel. They want to change things, do it better. No, just follow their system step by step. Don't ask questions, just do it. And that usually gets you the best results. The second thing that I would do is...
So you build a business?
You don't necessarily have to become an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship is not for everyone. I'm telling you, entrepreneurship is not for everyone, because entrepreneurship goes with ups and downs. I have crazy high ups and I have super intense downs. And I have to say, in the past 7 years, I have been desensitized. I don't think I experience emotions anymore as much as a normal person would feel emotions.
Context, this is the problem we're working on. I'm trying to work with you about. It's like people want to see emotions, and
Yes,
for you it's
no,
hard.
people might want to see emotions. People like emotions, but in the world of investing and entrepreneurship, I don't think there's much space for emotions. I can't tell you the shit I've gone through, bank accounts being closed, not being able to touch any of the funds, not being able to pay my team members, make investments into new supply. Like, literally, if I would be super emotional, I would lock myself up in my room and cry for days. But there is no time, there's no room for that, because I have a team that is relying on me. I have customers that are relying on me. I have family members that are relying on me.
How many?
I don't know, I just like to take care of the people around me, you know. I don't have time for emotions, to be honest. And it sounds very weird, but for me, it's just about when you're facing a difficult time, the best thing that you can do is just to accept the challenge and to become the person who you need to become in order to overcome that obstacle. And then there is no losing, there's no hard times. It's all just a learning process.
I heard this lately in a podcast of, I forgot his name, but the more responsibility you take, the more life is enjoyable or meaningful.
I agree. I would agree, because when I was working in Silicon Valley, I had a nice salary, 100K plus. The company was paying for my house, my car, one of the most expensive neighborhoods in the US. I was going to work in my cubicle every single day, and I was making good amount of money.
What did you do?
We were building out the private cloud for a big tech company.
Okay.
But my life felt meaningless, really meaningless, like doing Excel sheets every single day, meetings back to back to back. And I didn't feel like if I would proceed with this for the next 40 years, I would look back on my life and think like, oh yeah, I'm so proud of myself that I was sitting in my cubicle the whole day making Excel sheets.
Yeah.
So yes, when I embarked on my entrepreneurial journey and when I took on more responsibilities, when I actually built something of value that could help the world, yeah, of course, your life becomes more meaningful. At the same time, there's also more pressure on your shoulders because you have commitments. You have, again, commitments to your team, your customers, to the people around you that you're providing for. So it all comes with trade-offs. It's, I believe, the extent to your success is directly proportional to the willingness to take risks. And taking risks can either pay off or it can't. There's always a little dark cloud behind you of potential stuff that could happen. And that's why I think as an entrepreneur, it's important to build up your investment portfolio. Why? We are dependent. We don't have the typical salary at the end of the month or beginning of the month. We don't have any pension plan. So we need to build up our own security net. And I think the best way to do that is to build up your investment portfolio. That's your plan B. That knowing with my current investment portfolio, even if everything goes to shit, my business fails, the world goes to shit, my investment portfolio will still be able to pay for my entire lifestyle for the next few years. So being in that position, you unlock superpowers as an entrepreneur because you can take bigger risks, knowing that even if it doesn't pay off, you're still good. And then you can really progress through higher levels of making impact, building your business, growing as a person.
But hey, you moved from Dubai to Bali.
Yeah.
That's a unique step, isn't it?
But life in Bali is really cheap.
Yeah.
But the problem is because everything is so cheap, I do everything. Literally. Maybe you've seen the movie Yes Man. So maybe that kind of resembles my life then and now. I used to be a no man. I used to, when someone asked me, hey, do you want to go out for a dinner or want to go on this holiday or do you want to buy this thing? My default answer would be no. But now in Bali, because everything is so cheap, I do everything. I go to this restaurant, that restaurant, I order everything on the menu, helicopter flight, I buy a motorbike, whatever I want, I basically do it. I don't even think about money here because I know that I have sacrificed the previous 7 years of my life to get to this point. So would I recommend it to someone else that's still in the process of building up their wealth? No, don't do it. Don't live like me over here. But yeah, I can do it. I can spend 10K per month guilt-free, and it makes me live like a king over here in Bali.
It sounds like a hard challenge to spend 10K a month in Bali, to be honest.
A hard challenge to spend 10K in Bali.
It's
not that hard. It's not that hard.
Where do you spend it?
Bali has very cheap restaurants and options, but it also has very expensive options. For example, in Uluwatu, you have the Bulgari Hotel. Do you know how much it costs to sleep in the Bulgari Hotel?
No idea.
$2,000 per night.
Okay.
Bulgari Hotel also has a lot of nice restaurants. So you don't only want to sleep there, but you also want to eat there.
Mm-hmm.
When you go on a weekend trip, you want to stay in a nice place. You want to eat in a nice restaurant. Maybe you want to have a cocktail, or maybe rather than having the cheap chair on the beach, you want to have the nicer bed in the beach club. There's many ways where you can spend your money in Bali and have great luxury. And if you add up all the small things, I believe it's very easy to spend 7 to 10K.
Okay. Hey, I noticed a really interesting fact about rich people, and it's contradictive. So rich people, they're very often transparent about their money, which I find so beautiful.
Yeah.
Because you would think, oh, if you have so much, then you would probably have this mindset of, oh, no, I don't want to share. I want to hide it, right?
Yeah.
How is that possible?
I think poor people believe money is dirty. Money is not good. They're not deserving. It's only used for bad things.
I grew up, like I spoke with my father 2 months ago, and he literally told me, Sam, stop speaking about money all the time.
Yeah.
If you want to be rich, you got to step on other people's head.
Yeah.
He literally told me that, and I remember now all my life I believed that.
Yeah, that's so toxic. Everyone believes different things about money, and whatever you believe money to be will become your reality. For example, I used to believe that if you want to make a lot of money, you need to work very hard. That's what my dad always told me. You need to work very hard. So what did I end up doing? I worked 80-hour weeks because I believed that I needed to work hard to make money.
So how would you make 100x tomorrow with crypto? Buy a shitcoin.
In the bull market, it's not very uncommon to make 100x returns. I remember a time when I thought that I was going to 100x my portfolio. It was in 2017. I was traveling to Thailand, to Koh Phangan, and all of my friends were talking about crypto. At that time, I was a complete rookie. I didn't understand investing. I just made my first money with my online business, and everyone around me was talking about how all their portfolios were skyrocketing. They were making so much money. So at one point, I just grabbed one of my friends. I asked him like, yo, dude, what should I invest my money in right now? He told me, I just put in this coin, some Bitcoin, Ethereum, those altcoins. Yeah. And I remember going to bed, sleeping, dreaming about how I was going to be a multimillionaire the next day. Next morning, I woke up, my entire portfolio, 50% down. I panicked and I was like, all right, let me just sell everything before it's going to go to zero. The next few months, those same projects went 5x, 10x, 20x higher, whereas I lost 50% of my money within 24 hours. That was a very painful experience for me, but I do believe that everyone needs to go through this. In the beginning, when you're investing, for sure you're going to lose money. I lost a lot of money, but I call that my tuition fee. Everyone needs to pay some tuition fee before they take investing serious. In the bull market, making 5x, 10x, 20x is not difficult. But if you are a rookie investor, you put your money into some random coin, you make 20x the next day, then you're going to believe that you are a genius investor. Everyone makes money in the bull market. But the reality is, if you're just gambling your money away, the casino always wins. You're going to take excessive risks, you're going to cash out too late, and then you're going to ride the bull market all the way down to the point that your portfolio is at minus 90%. And that's why I believe you need to take a completely different perspective on investing.
What perspective?
Huh?
What perspective?
You need to learn how to consider the risks up front. When I got into crypto, I was only thinking about how can I become a multimillionaire tomorrow? And you're willing to risk everything in order to make that money. For example, the lottery. In the Netherlands or anywhere around the world, it's very common that people buy a lottery ticket. How big is the probability that you're going to win the lottery? It's very small. That's the whole business of the lottery. Because they're making millions in people, mainly poor people, middle-class people that buy these lottery tickets, so they can put very big prizes which they can award, which attracts a lot of more poor people that want to win those millions.
So this is not the first time I actually hear a story like this. You have a story like this. One of your friends told me the same story and I actually had the same story. It's looking at what works in America and then bringing it to your hometown or your own country.
Yeah.
And this works wonders. Like I know so many rich people who did exactly what you just said.
Yeah, so my philosophy, if you want to achieve anything in life, it's this saying from Pablo Picasso, good artists copy, great artists steal. I never create something new. Really, I always just look at what is already working.
And you're proud of it. That's the
Really, I'm really proud. No, I would not be proud to say that I reinvented the wheel. Why would I reinvent the wheel? Why? Why would I not take something that's already working? Because if you're reinventing the wheel, for example, BlackRock owns so many different companies. They acquired so many different companies. They have a unique and proprietary data set which they're running their AI on. The average person doesn't have access to this data set. But that doesn't mean that you cannot make the same moves as BlackRock, because BlackRock is a publicly traded company. That means that they need to publish what they're investing in every single quarter or maybe even every single month. So you can follow what BlackRock is doing. You can copy it with maybe a 1 month or 3 month delay, but still do the exact same moves as they're doing.
Okay. Do you do that?
Yes, I do that. I study the greats. Yeah. Larry Fink and BlackRock, there's a reason why they grew to $11 trillion in value in the previous 30 years, very quickly. I study Michael Saylor, the CEO. They're on their way to become $1 trillion company. They're growing super rapidly. They outperformed the S&P 500 with 1,500%. I study what Michael Saylor does. Whenever I see an outlier in the market, whenever I see people or companies grow really fast, I study them. I reverse engineer what they're doing, and I try to extract important lessons and insights which I can implement myself in order to also go through those explosive levels of growth.
So what exactly do you do?
At this point, my main focus is Bitcoin. I know that lots of people are focused on altcoins, but when I spoke to very wealthy people in Dubai, I lived there for 2 years. I spoke to sheikhs, I spoke to people running big hedge funds. They are not focused on altcoins. Whenever you're talking to the top 1%, they're focused on Bitcoin. Why? Because Bitcoin right now, according to them and according to me, is the lowest risk, highest return investment out there. Michael Saylor predicts that 1 Bitcoin can go to $13 million in the next 21 years.
I'm going to buy Bitcoin. Wait, let me just buy Bitcoin right now.
Buy more Bitcoin right now. Yeah, if Michael Saylor predicts that Bitcoin will go to $13 million in the next 21 years, and Bitcoin right now is $90,000 per Bitcoin, then it's an absolute no-brainer, right? Then you're getting it for a massive discount. So just holding a few Bitcoin or fractions of Bit even can be your complete retirement.
Tell me more about the blockchain.
The blockchain?
It's going to be a whole world. What do you mean by that?
When I was a kid, my parents told me to save money, put it in a bank account. And that was my safety, my nest egg. But looking back, I now understand that the banking system is actually not safe at all. Banks go bust every single year. In the US, I think last year 100 banks went bust. And when that happens, people lose their life savings. There's also a lot of news articles out there which talk about massive lawsuits against banks which have laundered money for drug cartels. I would believe they have evolved in something so bad for society. Blockchain solves this. How? Imagine that I do a transaction with you. You give me a cup of coffee and I need to pay you 100 units of money. Mm-hmm. How does this get recorded? I can take a piece of paper and I deduct 100 units from my account and I add 100 units to your account. So that's on the piece of paper. Yeah. But what if you leave the room and I erase it and I instead put units to my account and 50 units to my account? I can basically commit fraud when you're not looking, when you're not holding me accountable. Yeah. And that's what's happening in the banking system. That's how money laundering happens. That's how banks basically take large chunks of money and move it and put it in their own pockets. But what if we don't have one piece of paper where we keep track of how much money has been transacted between us, but we've got two different copies. You take account of it and I take account of it. Then I can cheat on my sheet, but you also have a copy. So whenever you find out that I have cheated on you and I committed fraud, then you can tell me, hey Mitch, what's up? Why did you do this? Yeah. Why are you trying to steal money from me? And that's exactly what the blockchain is. Rather than having one single record of where everything, of the movement of money, you have tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of different copies on different machines, which all have a backup which keeps track of who owns what and what are the ultimate balances in what wallets. So you cannot commit fraud in such a system. So it's an anti-fraud system. It's open and transparent. Everyone can see all of these copies. They can look at what transactions have been done, what wallets own what amount of money or Bitcoin or crypto. So it's transparent, it's anti-fraud, it's anti-censorship. So the government cannot just decide, no, Sam, today you cannot do a transaction because we don't like you. You've said
I ate too much meat.
You ate too much meat, you don't like the government, you're making anti-government videos on your social media, you cannot transact anymore. That cannot happen on a blockchain. The governments cannot interact on the blockchain.
Decentralized. So why do you say it's a whole world? Why do you say it's a whole new opportunity?
The crypto space today is like the internet space 20 years ago. Now we have amazing companies that everyone knows. Apple, Amazon, Google, Facebook, they're all offsprings of the internet boom. Bitcoin and blockchain is following a similar curve as the internet. Right now, we're still very early. It took 50 years in order for internet to become mainstream. Blockchain has been invented in 2009 by Satoshi Nakamoto, founder of Bitcoin. So we're not even in 15 years. So in order for Bitcoin and blockchain to reach mass adoption, it will probably take another 30, 40, 50 years, which means that we are in an early industry with a lot of opportunities, and we can still be ahead of the herd by creating products and services of real value. And then you can ride the wave, just like many people rode the internet wave and became billionaires or centimillionaires.
And that's basically what you're doing, right? You're building blockchain.
Yes. Yeah. So basically, we're building out the banking system of Bitcoin.
Why do you say a bank is like cancerous to society?
When banks were invented, it made a lot of sense. So if you were a merchant traveling from one city to another city, so you would have your goods. Let's say that you sold fur. Okay, I was watching a documentary yesterday about Moscow. Moscow was a city which traded a lot of fur, and fur was very popular in Europe. As a merchant, you would travel to Europe, you would sell your fur, and in return, maybe you would get gold. Gold is a very common medium of exchange, but are you going to travel from city to city with all of your gold? No, that would be, first of all, impractical, because if you stack a lot of gold, it gets very bulky, it's very dangerous, you might get robbed. So instead, banks would accept your gold and they would give you a piece of paper saying, hey, you've got your gold here, you have this piece of paper, you can exchange your gold so that you don't have to travel with that gold. We will just take care of it, we will protect it, make sure nobody takes it from you. It makes sense. But over time, banks became increasingly greedy. Rather than having this positive impact on society, no, we'll just protect your money so you don't have to travel with it. They thought, how can we maximize the amount of money that we take? So with that gold or with your money that you deposit in, the bank is actually able to make more money with it. You basically, when you create a contract with the bank, you give them permission to use your deposits to make investments or to borrow your investments out, to borrow your money out to other people. Yeah. And in a greedy market, for example, the mortgage crisis in the US, where they just gave mortgages to people left and right, even though they were not eligible because they didn't have a certain amount of income. So they basically gave properties or loans to people that couldn't afford it, just because the salespeople and the banking executives earned fat bonuses from selling all of those mortgages. But at the same time, they create a super unstable financial system because all of those people cannot pay back their mortgage. And at one point, the Ponzi scheme of the banks just collapsed because it's an unsustainable system. And now I believe that the banks are not just offering good value for people in society. They're just thinking about how can we maximize the value for themselves. So blockchain and Bitcoin solves this.
Very interesting. So what personal stories do you have with lending out money?
Yeah, just a few months ago, one of my sales team members basically sent me a message on Slack and he was like, hey dude, look, I had to take care of some family members. I burned through all of my savings. I had to cash out all of my crypto and I'm almost down to zero. Can I borrow a few $1,000s from you? And even though I really strongly care about all of my team members, I ultimately told him, no, I'm not going to borrow you money. I want you to win, I want you to succeed, but I'm not going to borrow your money. Everyone needs to have money principles, and my money principle is that I never lend out money to anyone, because I believe there's a reason why you don't have money. You cannot manage your money. Yeah. So I can help you to fix your money habits and to get a better money mindset. But me giving you money is not going to solve your problem. Yeah. It all comes down to the saying, right? If you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. But if you teach a man how to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. And if I would have just given him money, I would have saved him for 1 week maybe. But then the next week he would knock on my door again. Hey dude, can I borrow some money again? And it would be an endless cycle of me lending money to him and not getting it back. And maybe he would be the exception to my rule. Maybe he would have paid me back. Yeah. But so far, if I look back at my entire data set of the moments that I lended money to people, I never got it back.
It's interesting when you said before, like rich people. Okay, so I made this month the most money I've ever made, right?
Congrats.
Thank you, buddy. Now I shared it in a family group, right? I shared a video of me at a client's house, a villa, one of the best villas in something crazy. And then he enters the room and I just
continue. Yeah, he enters the room.
He enters the room. I just sold something for $25. No, I just sold something for $25,000.
Nice.
And I'm like, just waking up, I'm like, let's go. I love this energy. Like, this is the first time I ever had it.
Nice.
So, and then I get a call, I get a message from my salesperson, from my closer, who's, I just sold something for $2,000. I'm like, super happy. Okay.
Nice.
So I share this in the family. And then my sister is like, instead of bragging about your money, why don't you just buy us presents?
Wow.
Yes. Yeah, and then she's, it's a joke, and I'm like, interesting. Why would I do that? But then I see like the whole family is like my father also is like, why don't you share your money if you make money? Stop bragging about it. Just we don't care that you make money. That's cool, but share this money if this is how we show love, like French family, right?
Sure.
And then it's hard for me to be like, okay, this is I understand them because that was my mindset before where I grew up, but now it doesn't make sense at all. And then I'm like, I don't want to give you money. I want to teach you how to make money. And I'm not interested in that. I don't care about it. I don't care about learning how to make money.
Yeah.
If you make money, give me the money. Otherwise, I don't want to learn from you how to make money.
Yeah.
And it's oh my God. And then it's like such an interesting drastic of like your family is like, oh, stop speaking about money and all this thing. And then I have people who pay me $5,000
Yes.
to teach them how to make money. So it's one person wants to give me 2 months of his whole savings or wants to work for me for 2 months and just for me to teach them how to make money. And then there's the family who is like, oh my God, Sam, stop speaking about it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. One question to you. Why did you share with your family how much money you were making? What were you hoping to get out of it? What was your best result that you were hoping to get out of it?
That I can teach them how to make money. And probably also the kid, hey, we're proud of you, or like
You
something
were
like that.
looking for validation.
Yeah. But mainly to teach them. I really want to teach my family how to make money.
No, I understand. I'm very open and transparent about talking about money, how much money I've made, what I do with my money, what I don't do about my money. But you need to read the room. Not everyone wants to know how much money you make, and not everyone is going to be receptive to it. So when I'm with my group of entrepreneurs or investors, we openly talk about money, deals, investments. A few years ago, I really wanted to have the approval of my parents. I also wanted them to tell me like, Mitch, well done, we're proud of you, nice. But I noticed that every time I spoke about business, money, or investing with my parents, it actually created a bigger drift between me and my parents, especially between me and my dad, because a bigger separation. Because my dad is also an entrepreneur. My dad has gone through many different things. So when I talk about business with him, we got into very heated arguments where it was his ego against my ego. After going through this for a few times, I came to the realization, my parents don't care about how much money I make. My parents just care about me being a good son. Ultimately, that's it. They don't care about my money. They don't care about my success. I'm just their son. They just want to spend quality time with me. All of the other stuff doesn't matter. So I made another rule for myself. As you can notice by now, I've got a lot of principles. I don't speak about money and business with my family. I speak about family stuff with my family, and I speak about business and money with my group of entrepreneurs because I know they will appreciate it. My parents don't care about that stuff. That's superficial stuff for them.
Interesting. Hey, what's the smartest way to make money when the economy is crashing after the bull market?
Contrary to what I used to believe back in the day, so when the market crashes, I thought, all right, I'm fucked now. Basically, everything is going to go to zero. It's going to be painful.
Hide in a corner, take everything out.
Take everything out, cash out your positions with a loss. But no, true wealth is built during recessions, not during bull markets. The rich get richer because they buy assets during crisis. So in COVID, for example, I made many big investments because everyone else was panicking. There is this famous saying, buy when there's blood on the streets.
Yeah.
When the market crashes and everyone else sells, I'm buying everything left and right. BlackRock is doing the same. Whenever the market crashes, BlackRock buys up everything.
The difference is that they crush the market.
They make the market crash on purpose. They understand. But if you want to build wealth long term, you need to understand that you shouldn't buy on the green days. You should buy on the red days. That's counterintuitive to what most people do. When their portfolio is in the green and everything's only going up, that's when they want to buy more. Instead, that's when you should be taking profits. When the market crashes and there's like a 3-year bear market, that's when you should put all of your money back into the market.
Okay. Hey, this was the best month I've ever, money-wise, this was the best month of my life. What would you recommend to do next?
I would recommend you to have goals outside of money. That's what I recommend you to do next.
Okay, but like, where do I invest my money?
Okay, where do you invest your money? I think it's important for everyone to have a diversified investment portfolio. But when we talk about diversification, and this is how I used to think about it in the past, I used to just throw my money left and right at different investments. This stock, that thing, I'm gonna buy a house there, Rolex watch, this.
Yeah.
But that's not really diversification. There's this famous quote of Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's business partner, and he's saying it's absolute insanity that people believe that owning 50 companies is a much better strategy than owning 10 really great companies. Basically, how I interpret this quote is diversification is not about how many different things you own. It's about owning a few different things in different industries or different asset classes that you really truly understand, have researched, and believe in the long-term potential.
Yeah.
If you own 50 different crypto projects stored in different wallets on different exchanges, how are you going to keep track of the performance of those crypto projects, the developments, the market? How are you going to cash out? It's going to be headache, chaos. So I believe in owning 10 to 20 really great investments, and that is diversification. If you just keep allocating money every single month to your investment portfolio and you spread it out over those different assets in a fixed ratio, and you do that consistently, then I do believe that anyone can build up lots of wealth, become a millionaire.
Do you preach what you speak?
Yes, totally.
Because it sounds like you're only Bitcoin.
No, that's not true. Actually, crypto is 60% of my portfolio. It
That's
might
awesome.
seem I'm only invested in Bitcoin, and it makes sense. I'm not going to lie about it. Bitcoin mining is my company, so I feel like that is where I'm putting most of my time and energy and efforts to educate other people because I really, truly understand it. But investment-wise, yes, you need to have a diversified investment portfolio. So I own real estate. I've got an apartment in Amsterdam, building a house in Dubai, building a villa here in Bali. I own stocks, I own watches. I invested in a luxury car, Lamborghini, to rent it out in Dubai. I've got tons of different investments. Not tons.
Lamborghini. You can't say Lamborghini. You cannot own a Lamborghini and say Lamborghini. It's a
Whatever,
Lamborghini.
Lambo. Worst investment of my life.
Why is that?
No, literally. The Lambo was my worst investment of my life. Literally. In Dubai, people rent Lambos for $1,000 per day. It's very popular. People go there for 1 week. They act as if they're super rich on Instagram, shoot a lot of content. And I wanted to be
The seller.
I wanted to be the guy that rents out the Lambo, right?
Smart.
Yeah, exactly. I want to profit from growing markets.
Yeah.
And we bought a Lambo in Germany, a Tiffany blue Lambo Huracan Evo Spider, 300K. We imported it to Dubai, cost another 20K. So around 320K was the total cost of the Lambo. And then we calculated that we could earn between 10 to 30,000 euros per month renting out that Lambo. We looked at some other rental companies. The same model of car was renting out 90% of the days throughout the year. So that's a lot of volume. But the guy that sourced the Lambo for us, I think he didn't do his research. He didn't get the car expected. So in the end, we bought a Lambo that had very high maintenance. So in relationships, you talk about a high maintenance girlfriend. I had a high maintenance Lambo. 1 month, we would make 10K in rental income. Then it would have to go to the garage to get serviced, and we would have to pay 10K again. This happened 4 months in a row, and then we were like, we're not going to do this anymore. Let's just sell the Lambo. And it hasn't been sold since. For almost 1 year, we're trying to sell the Lambo. Yeah. So
Why?
Worst decision of my life.
How's no one buying your
Whenever you are buying very expensive luxury products, cars, houses, you need to find the right buyer with the right taste and enough money to buy that thing. So we had a Tiffany blue limited edition Lambo, which is very rare, but it needs to be for a certain type of person. The thing is with a Lambo, the more modifications you make to a Lambo, the more of its value it loses. So you need to find someone that also loves the color, that likes a Tiffany blue color. Because if you spray paint it a different color, it loses value.